Hello everyone, Bashar here. So we are together with another video, guys, and in this video we will go over the best Iron Twins team that I have been able to find. So there are a lot of teams, block damage teams that used a 2-turn block damage guy, 3 painkeepers, and a Geo or similar damager. So this one is, I believe, superior to all of them because of the minimum requirements. So the speed requirements are low, the move requirements are relatively low, even the accuracy requirement is low. I love it because the teams that I have been able to find require much higher speeds than this. So guys, you know, there are only 3 champions in the game that can do a 2-turn block damage. So actually, when this place was first released, Unkillable used to work here as well, but then people started cheesing this place with Paragon. You know, he gives himself a 2-turn unkillable buff, then he damages the boss, then he puts up another 2-turn unkillable buff and repeats till he kills the boss. I mean, it was maybe a 15-minute kill, but it was killing with 100% efficiency. So they said in higher levels the boss will start ignoring unkillable below certain HP threshold. I believe it was like 40%. So, but the thing is, they did not do anything about block damage. So block damage works on all percentages. And so there are teams revolving around multiple Demitars and whatnot, but those are all iffy. You know, they can fail at times. The 2-turn block damage champions are very nice. So we have only 3 2-turn block damage champions in this game, guys. We have Helicat, you know, very famous. We have Roshgard the Tower, and we have Alscor that was recently added. So there was a guaranteed summon event for Alscor a little more than a month ago. So Alscor also has a 2-turn block damage skill, and all of these skills have a 4-turn cooldown. But Alscor has a problem, guys. So let's take a look at Alscor. Should be here. Okay. So Alscor problem is, find them. Should be here. Okay, guys. Alscor problem is this passive. So whenever he gets attacked, he has a 50% chance of applying a decreased speed debuff. So decreased speed is a very key debuff in Iron Twins fights because, guys, not only it slows the boss down, it also turns his ability to gain a turn meter when you buff yourself off. So let's say if you buff your entire team with a single buff, the guy gets 25% turn meter, 5% per buff. So if you have a team of 5, you buff them all, the guy gets 25%. So if you do 2 buffs at the same time, say block debuffs and shield, the guy gains 50% turn meter. And decreased speed turns that off. So you could hope to, you know, not applying it because it's only 50%, and if you do not invest in accuracy, your chance will go down to 3%. So 3%, 50% of time goes down to 1.5%. And you can rely on that not happening because 1.5% is low. But problem is, guys, the Iron Twins actually is a multiple hitter. So he does a lot of hits at the same time, actually. So this sadly has a lot of chance of going off even if you do not put any accuracy in. The only ability that we care about is this one. We need to max this. So all of these books can be saved. Sadly, I was extremely unlucky and I had to use it all, even maxing A1 and A2. So if you are lucky though, 2 books can handle this. So the brilliant idea that here is, if you have Alscor, sadly at this point you would have ascended him, but if you haven't ascended him, he works when he is unascended because this ability unlocks upon ascension. So if you don't ascend him, this ability is invalid, right? If you have Roshgard or Helicat, they don't have this kind of stuff, but with Helicat you should turn off the shield because, as I said, the guy gets turn meter when you buff yourself, so that can throw the speed tune out of sync. So we will have to turn off this ability during the fight. because it gives a buff to us, and when the guy doesn't, so when the guy doesn't have the decreased speed on him, this will give him turn meter and will throw us out of sync. So what I would suggest, if you have this, if you are lucky to not have ascended Alscor, you don't need any leveling. You could be 5 stars level 1, but I advise you to get this Lord of Steel, because the speed requirement is still pretty high. You need 268 speed on Alscor, and guys, since you are not allowed to ascend him, you actually have to do this without a banner, right? That's a good 20-ish speed wasted. And what's more is that his base speed is not very high, so the speed set is not as efficient as it is on other champions. So 268 speed can be an ask, and that's why I suggest that you use Lord of Steel here. So 268 speed, 4-turn block damage champion. Just turn off whatever else that he has that gives buffs. For example, this Helicat's shield, right? I'm not sure if Roshgard actually has any other buffs. So, but if he does, you have to turn them off. And then we have the damager. So the damager could be anyone that does a max HP based damage, right? So it could be, so the most famous one is Geomancer, right? So you apply the HP burn, and since, I mean, he deflects damage based on what the boss does to you, right? Unmitigated, so he does a lot of damage. But the problem with Geo is, guys, Geo needs to apply his HP burn, and that requires about 500 accuracy. So if you build a Geomancer with 500 accuracy, he will be gimped, right? Because he will have, you know, less defense, less HP than he should have, right? You will be missing out on stuff. So that's why, and guys, Geo is very precious, right? You can use 2 or 3 Geos in different places of the game, right? Doom Tower, Hydra, another difficulty of Hydra. So I do not like to waste, in air quotes, Geo like that. So I'm using a Cold Heart. So of course, Royal Guard and Husk can do the same, but they have 2 problems. I mean, they are harder to get than Cold Heart, and when the Iron Twins is the opposite affinity, right? When it's green for Husk and when it's red for Royal Guard, you will do less damage and fail. So, I mean, Cold Heart is void, so there is no weak or something. So you need 229 speed from Cold Heart. Okay, and then there are the Painkeepers, which is full disrespect mode. Yeah, they are here. And only their A3s need to be booked. The A2s do not need to be booked. As you can see here, they don't need to be booked because we are going to turn it off. And they can be 3 stars level 1, as you can see here. We don't need anything, right? And the speeds are very low, 215, 214, and 212. So guys, the other teams that I have seen around there is like 280s on the block damage champion, requires the Painkeepers A2s to be booked, requires like 240 speed from Painkeeper. No such thing here. Everyone is as slow as they can be. 268 block damage guy, 229 damaging guy, 215, 14, and 13 Painkeepers, and only their A3s need to be booked. A2 is going to be turned off. So let me, okay, let's take a look here again. 268 Alscor, A3 is on highest priority, A2 is turned off because it gives us buffs and we don't want buffs. Cold Heart is just nuking with Heartseeker as often as she can, and Painkeepers have their A2s turned off and A3 with highest priority. And as you can see, guys, they are not even, you know, 500 attack, 300 defense. They don't care because we will have block damage on us all the time. So guys, there is a freak accident, so to speak, with this team. So I have done this team a little more than a month ago, and I am buying refreshes on Sunday. So I'm doing a lot of battles, right? So I'm doing 48 battles every week, and it has lost twice. I don't understand how, but I mean, I have done more than 250 battles, so I mean, if you lose, that's how, and I wouldn't have been able to figure it out why it happens. But normally, guys, as you can see, I mean, Painkeepers are, you know, boosting their own turn meters, and it looks like it works like a well-oiled machine here, as you can see. I mean, they bring their own cooldowns down. So guys, the other teams that I have seen are using A2 and whatnot, and so of course A2 doesn't give turn meter, so it makes the team actually slower, and the heal from it is absolutely unnecessary, and that's why you have to make the Painkeepers faster. In here, everyone is on their bare minimum: 268 block damage guy, 229 damaging guy. As I said, could be anyone, right, that does max HP base damage. In theory, it could be literal anyone, but you wouldn't want to waste 15 minutes here. So this is a little bit slower, and of course these guys are not leveled and not mastered, so I mean, they are doing virtually no damage, which you will see in a minute. But guys, I mean, I'm okay with, you know, saving like 8,000 energy and spending like 5-6 extra minutes per day, right? It's a good deal. So I would suggest that you use a Cold Heart here. And guys, so the thing is, normally if you use a Geo here, right, he will be gimped because of his 500 accuracy, and Royal Guard and Husk would be bad on the opposite affinity day. But the Cold Heart is very good here because the Cold Heart doesn't get even gimped, because I mean, we don't need accuracy from the Cold Heart here because the boss is immune to turn meter reduction, but I mean, we could slap a little bit of accuracy on the Cold Heart so we can use them on Fire Knight and Spider if need be, right? So what I did was, guys, I mean, you normally have some accuracy from Great Hall, right? And your gear occasionally has some unwanted accuracy on it, even if you don't want it, right? So I did a little bit of extra, and I brought my Cold Heart to about 200 accuracy, so she is still useful in Spider and Fire Knight. So she's not even gimped. So I'm getting the almost full use out of her, and I'm also getting this done. So yeah, it is approximately 3 minutes 15 seconds or so. If I had mastery on these guys, of course it would be faster, but as I said, I would rather, you know, save the thousands and thousands of energy. Okay, that's it. Last turn. Painkeeper cooldown reduction, Cold Heart finish. And look at the damage, guys. 1.7k, 2k, 1.2k, 10k. I mean, they are doing nothing, and Cold Heart is doing 5 million. So guys, if you have the proper Painkeepers here, right, and proper outscore here, they would of course do damage. So if you have outscore from the summoning event and you have ascended him, you can do this team. But be warned, there will be about 50% fail rate. So you will be spending almost 1 extra full energy here every day for nothing. But if you want to do it, it will work, right? Because as I said, the thing is, guys, Iron Twins actually is a multi-hitter, a big multi-hitter. So every time that he hits you, there will be a 1.5% chance of applying that decreased speed, right? And when it works, you are done. I mean, maybe at the literal end you would save yourself, but normally you would be done, because the thing is, guys, when outscore puts up the block damage buff, the boss gains 25% turn meter, and when he has the decreased speed on him, he will not gain that. I mean, imagine your tune is based on him gaining that 25% turn meter, because everything is, you know, arranged that way, and all of a sudden he says, okay, I'm not gaining that 25% turn meter, and I'm also slower, and then your block damage will fall off and you will die. So as I said, guys, with this team in slightly more than a month, so that would be about 250 battles or so, I have lost twice when I wasn't looking. So I don't know what happened there, but there is that thing. So if you lose, that could be the reason. So I think the reason is the fractional speed of outscore, right? We have 2 speed pieces on him, 2 speed set pieces on him. I mean 2 bonuses, 4 speed set pieces, and he has the Lord of Steel, so his speed actually, I believe, is closer to 267 than 268. I think that's the case. Let me check it out quickly. Yeah, his speed is, so that's causing the freak accident, I think. But of course, guys, I do not add another speed. I do not dare adding another speed. No, it's a little because, guys, if I fail, I have to change the gear, right? And it's below 1%. So can I add 1 speed here? So I don't want to add 1 speed here, guys, because I have to use a 5-star glyph and I have to roll perfect, or I have to use a 6-star glyph. Why do it? Yeah, I can add here. I can use a 2-star till it works, which I have only 5 of. Yeah. So if you want, guys, you can go for 269, right? But I'm not making any guarantees, so I think it will work. But as I said, at the moment, I do not dare. I will just take the below 1% loss rate. Because, as I said, I have been doing for more than a month now, and I have also done this team for a few of my viewers, and one of them has reported a single loss. So all in all, about 700 battles and 3 losses. So I mean, less than 0.5%. I suppose it is acceptable. I would, of course, loved it if it was 100%, but it is what it is, I guess. Anyway, guys, so that's why I'm making this video. It's too late, I know. I mean, Iron Trees has been out for a long time. I mean, Allscore Guaranteed Summer Event was a very long time ago. So the ones that have Allscore probably have ascended him, and it's a little bit too late. But at least, guys, I am telling you, this team can still work. And those of us that operate on a budget, this team is, as I said, the cheapest. Because, guys, imagine you have a 99 speed champion, right? Yeah, that's not very fast, and you have to reach 268, right? And also you can't use a banner. I mean, that is actually quite challenging, right? The base speed is low, right? Or the base speed is mediocre, right? You don't have access to banner, and you have to reach 268. And if you are, like a 1-year player or so, that will be something, right? Because there is your arbiter, there is your clan boss team that uses your speed gear and whatnot, as some other fast champions, solo champions and whatnot. So that much speed is not very easy. I barely did it myself. So yeah, something to think about. I will just show the setup one last time. All scores. So guys, if this is not all score, if you are using Roche card or Helicat, you should turn off the A2 if it puts up a buff, because it will give turn meter to the boss and it will mess up the tune. So that's the general rule. I can actually take a look quickly. I know Helicat's A2 need to be turned off. And the damaging guy, I mean, doesn't matter, you just give highest priority to the max HP based nuke. And Painkeepers, all of them have their A2s turned off and A3 on the highest priority. Speeds are 268 block damage guy, 229 damaging guy, 215, 14 and 13 are the Painkeepers. They don't need to be ascended, they don't need anything. A3 is booked, and that's speed. They don't need defense, they don't need HP, they don't need attack. It's just great. I mean, I love it, right? I have not invested 1 energy in these guys. So if you are missing Painkeepers, there are sadly no workarounds, but Painkeeper is just a rare, so you could get one. And sadly, guys, clan boss Painkeepers can't be used here because the speeds are different, unless you can take on the burden of, constantly switching gear, because the budget unkillable has 218s, the Bat Eater has 240s on Painkeepers, so it doesn't work. But there is one thing, there is actually a much worse version of this, which require much higher speeds, right? And one of those combinations, I believe, requires 240-ish speed on the Painkeeper. So that means you can actually use your Bat Eater Painkeeper in here. But I mean, it will be much more challenging for you because everyone will require a lot of speed. And if you are with all score guys, it will be extremely painful because in that combination the block damage guy needs more than 280 speed. So for example, myself, I wouldn't have been able to do that. Right? 99 base speed, no banner. Yeah, 280s would be quite the ass. Anyway, I hope you liked it, guys. Do this team and try it out, and provide me with feedback if you liked it. If it fails, we will try to work it out. Bye bye.